Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing something exciting. When I started this channel, I always wanted to do book reviews because I always say that if you want to get into a relationship, if you want to be in a relationship, then you should have knowledge, you should read on relationships. If you want to get a house, for example, you would do your research, you would make sure that you do everything to make the right investment. If you want to get a job, you make sure that you read on the company that you're applying for, you read on the jobs, you read on everything about the job. You pretty much do your research for the things that are important to you. So I feel like if you want to be in a relationship, if you want to get married, then you should also do that research. You should kind of get to understand what it is that marriage entails or relationships entails. I feel like it's always good to do that research. And while there's so many things out there on what a relationship should be like, I feel at the end of the day that God's word is the best advice that you can get. Going to things like Think Like a Man, where people say, okay, if you want to keep a man, then make sure you don't have sex till like, how many days was it? I can't remember from the movie. It was like some amount of days. But the truth is, like, at the end of the day, if you want to keep a man, or if a man wants to be with you, whether you have sex or you don't, he would be with you, right? And obviously you want to be with a man who would abstain from sex. And if a man doesn't want to be with you and he just wants to use you to get with you or get what he wants, he will do it. If he needs to chase you for a year, he would do it. Like, he would literally chase you for a year. When he gets you, he's done. I was actually watching I think Moments with Mo, or is it Moments with Tokyo? No, it's Moments with Mo on Ebony Live TV or something, and they brought this guy on. He was saying that there was this Christian girl he was chasing, and like, because he knew she was all about that Christian life, because he knew she wanted, she's like a godly person or whatnot, he started forming like he was going to church. I mean, even when she wants to hug him, he'll be like, nah, please, I don't want to hug, I don't want any temptation. He did that for 6 months, and then finally she let him in. I think he got with her, and then he dumped her. And for me, it was just like, wow. And it just goes to show that if a guy wants to be with you, he would be with you. If a guy doesn't want to be with you, he just wants to get with you, and he just wants whatever he wants from you, he will do that. So when you go to like books like Think Like a Man, Act Like a Woman, whatnot, you don't get the best advice. I feel like where you should get your advice from is first the Bible, because at the end of the day, like, you believe that God created us all. And the Bible says that he knows the heart of man. God knows you because he created you. He knows me. He knows the things that I will do in 2 minutes. He knows the things I will do in 2 years. So if I want to get advice on how to treat the person that he also created, then where best is it to get the advice from the Bible? Then it's also good to get advice from people who have had experience but don't have bitter experience. We had like experience, and you've come out from it, and then God is leading you to write a book or something. Yeah, you can learn from people like that as well. You can learn from Christians who have gone through this, who are in marriages, and who have written books. There's so many places where you can learn from, but I feel like biblical knowledge is key because there's lots of wisdom there. So today, one of the things I wanted to start before I went on my rant, one of the things that I wanted to start was a book review. So every now and then I would share with you a book that I've read and I feel like would help people. And with every book review, what I would do is also do a giveaway on the book. So so today my book review is on How to Choose a Life Partner, 165 Questions to Ask, by Pastor Bimbo Odukoya. That is it. Yeah, I really love this book. But yes, and at the end of this when I put this video up, I'll be doing a book giveaway for 2 weeks. I'll be giving out 2 of these books. So yes, so this is the first of my first book reviews. I really love this book, guys. It literally has 165 questions that you should ask when thinking about a life partner. So it's questions that you can literally ask the person that you're being with, and then there's some personal questions that you also have to ask yourself when entering a relationship, or even when you're in a relationship. First of all, I would read a little bit on this and just take you through the chapters, and then for those who would get the book, you can read a little bit more. And also, if you want to buy the book, I would put the bookshop where you can get this book from, so you can go there or you can call them to see if they have a copy left. But man, this is a good book. Like, I would advise anyone that wants to get married or anyone that is in a relationship to read this book, because there's some important questions that you need to ask, like, that make a difference. In this insightful book, she deals with practical aspects of marriage and relationships based on God-given principles. She tackles issues such as abuse and infidelity head on and points out how they influence the relationship between man and woman. Its message will be useful for anyone who is committed to build a marriage that lasts. Whether you are a parent who would like to advise your teenagers on courtship, a person looking for a meaningful relationship, planning to get married, or getting married, the 165 questions in this book will help you to choose the right soulmate or to sort out issues with your current partner. I learned how to avoid relationship pitfalls, pick the right partner, discern between love and infatuation, confirm your choice, and define your relationship. Literally, like, everything I've said is what this book is about and what this book did for me in my relationship and just in life, like choosing a partner. And it's fun questions. I have a section in my blog where I do a relationship challenge, and I took some questions from this book, and these are questions that you can ask. I call it the question game. So there are questions that you can ask your partner, and it doesn't have to be funny. If you're talking to your friend, then you guys can just go through some of these questions and ask yourself, okay, do we actually know these things about each other? Have we actually thought about these issues? So it first of all goes into the introduction. Then it goes to, I never thought it could happen to me, and this part of the book, that's chapter 1. You hear stories of people who have entered marriages, and like, you just hear stories that are heartbreaking, because it's either they didn't really pray about the person that they entered the relationship into, and then they enter the marriage and it fails for one reason or the other. So I'll read like a little section from that book, because I'm not really trying to read the whole book for you guys. Then it goes to 7 reasons why people make the wrong choice. Then the 165 questions you should ask. Then chapter 4 is confirm your choice. Chapter 5, how to tell if you're really in love. So this is the part where she differentiates between love and infatuation. Then chapter 6 is defining your relationship. Chapter 7 is decision making, and chapter 8 is pray fervently. So at the end of the day, it all ends up with you praying and making sure that God is the one guiding your relationship decision. So she says here in the first part, which I really like, failures in marriage stem principally from incompatibility and are a result of wrong choices based on wrong decisions made for frivolous reasons. So one of the things that I realized reading this book is that people get married for the wrong reasons, and you know, the reason behind your marriage decision will guide the type of decision you make. So if I'm getting married because of money, like I want to marry a wealthy man, you'll see that the type of decisions I make, the things that I ignore, the choices that I make are surrounded by that reason. So the reason why you want to get married is important. So the first question I actually want to ask you guys, and I ask myself, is why do I want to get married? Like, what is the reason? I know that this is a God-given relationship. It's a question that I had to ask myself, and I believe that by reading this book, you also ask yourself that question, like, why do I want to get married? Is it for the very reasons? Is it for companionship? Is it for, you know, to feel a sense of self-worth? Is it because of my parents? Is it because of pressure? You need to ask yourself that question as well. So I never thought it would happen to me. I'm just going to read one out of the many stories she wrote about. So this story is Dying in Silence. Rita seemed to be overwhelmed by anxiety and depression as she poured out her heart to me. She was trying to hide her nervous tension under a calm exterior. I'm such a bad reader. What was Rita's problem? Why was she so upset? She couldn't place her finger on it, except that her husband's affair had something to do with it. Kola, her husband, had been seeing a single girl for about a year who had a baby with him. Rita was puzzled by the fact that she couldn't handle the news of her husband's child. Strange as it may seem, Rita was no stranger to infidelity. Kola had had many affairs over their 8 years of marriage, and this was the second child he had fathered out of wedlock. It was obvious that Kola had a problem with self-control because Rita could vividly remember that Kola had been seeing other girls even while they were courting. So I'm going to stop the story here. And these are stories that are real. These are stories that people told to Pastor Bimbo, because she was also consulting people as well. So this is a story, real life story from someone. So what she does is that after she tells you the story, she also tells you the lesson to be learned. And in this story, the lesson to be learned is, in courtship, try to identify the flaws of your intended spouse that you can cope with and those you cannot tolerate. It is better to have a broken relationship than a failed marriage. Rita knew that Kola was having other affairs while they were courting, but she consciously ignored this sign because she claimed to love him. And I think that is something that we all do. And it might not be cheating, it might be physical or verbal abuse, it might be the person being dirty. There are so many things that we see during our courting stage, and courting is not the time where you guys start doing all this hanky-panky and getting physical. Courting is the time where you literally need to get to know the person that you're with. This is the time where you're making the decision to say, okay, yes, I can actually see myself being with this person forever. So when you see certain things that the person does that you know you cannot handle, then leave that relationship. Don't take it further to marriage, because what would happen is that you would get married and then everything that the person is doing just gets worse. Because you saying I want to marry you means, in other words, that I accept you for who you are, for better, for worse. Do you get what I mean? So you're accepting the person for who the person is as the person comes. So what will make the person change when they get married? It's not going to be a ring. It's definitely not going to be your wedding. At the end of the day, if you see something during your courtship stage or your relationship stage that you cannot handle, especially when it comes to cheating, then leave that relationship. Because the guy that cheats on you when he's in a relationship with you or courting you would cheat on you in marriage. Marriage doesn't stop a guy from cheating. So the next chapter is 165 questions, and these 165 questions are divided into different sections. So she first of all talks about how to ask the questions, because how to ask the question is as important as the question you're asking. If you come to me asking me questions like you're trying to interview me, I'm going to be feeling some type of way, and I'm sure your partner would also be feeling that kind of way. You don't go on your first date and you're asking them all the questions in the world. These are things that you want to get to know. These are things that you might have to observe. But she says that if you want to ask a question, asking it when you put it in a way that is not soliciting marriage, you're literally asking to get to know the person, it makes a difference. So asking, can you marry someone from a race or culture that is different from yours, is different from what are your views on interracial or cross-cultural marriage. Because if you come to a guy, he's meeting you for the first time, he gets your number, and obviously maybe he asks for your name, what's your name, and you're like, my name is Chioma, what's his name, Wole. You're thinking already okay, obviously at the back of your mind, does this guy have any tribal differences when it comes to marriage and everything. Now if you come to him and you're like, can you marry someone that is Igbo, he's probably going to be chill, I really want to go on more dates with you. But if you ask, what are your views on, there's a way you ask the questions that makes the difference, that makes someone feel like you're genuinely trying to get to know them versus you trying to interrogate them. So what to ask? You need to know the motive for someone pursuing a relationship. You need to try to understand yourself as well. So these are some of the things that she points out. You have to ask yourself, do I really know my partner? What positive or negative attributes do I perceive from him or her? What personality types does he or she best fit? Is he or she born again? Is he a born again Christian? That is one question that lots of people don't ask, and I think needs to be asked. Because lots of people say, well, are you a Christian? Yeah, cool, you're a Christian, and then it just stops there. By the way, I did a video on this, so I'll put the link below as well. Some of the questions, some of the things you need to ask yourself before you say, okay, this guy is a born again Christian. Because it's one thing for someone to say I'm a Christian, it's another thing to see them act or live in a lifestyle where they are showing that they're Christians. So she goes from she generalizes these questions into 10 different sections. One is background, The other is temperament, so like personality, character, attitude. 3 is education. 4 is religion. 5 is family. 6 is sexuality. So that's like looking at gender roles, love. You need to ask these questions as well. Some people feel like, okay, the man is meant to play this role and the woman is meant to play this kind of role. So you need to understand where the person you're coming from, the person you want to be with is coming from. Like, is the person one of those people that think like women are meant to stay at home, they're not meant to work, they're meant to do house chores? You need to know these things. Number 7 is finance. 8 is communication. 9 is health. And 10 is just general questions. So in terms of temperament, she asks questions like, am I an introvert or an extrovert? Am I slow in trusting people? Am I particular about things being orderly? Because one of the things that I watched in one of her sermons in Singles and Married is that people can actually divorce over eating food on a dining table versus eating food in your room, because these little things that you pick on. I mean, that's a very silly reason to divorce, but people have issues from even like toothpaste. Like, you go to seminars and you see like people talking about how squeezing toothpaste from the middle can literally turn into the biggest fight. So there's some questions that you don't know to ask, not because you're ignorant, not because you don't want to, but because you just don't know that these are things that are important and these are things that you need to ask. So these are some of the questions that she deals with, and I'm going to put a link to my blog where I put some of these questions out there for you, your partner, your boyfriend or your girlfriend. And so if you don't win this book, or if you can't get this book, you can also go with those questions. I got those questions from this book. But yeah, so it's one, because when she asks the question, she also expands on what's this question, the reason behind asking the questions. So for example, how do my parents feel about this person? What your parent thinks about the person you intend to marry is very important. Their approval is very necessary. If they don't agree with your choice, it is a danger signal. Let's see what question 165 is. Oh, I highlighted this one. Are we going to share expenditure? That is a question you need to ask. Like, I need to know if I'm splitting 50-50 or if I'm keeping my money. Like, I don't want to go into a relationship feeling like I'm keeping my money, and then the next thing is like, where's your money? We need to pay for this or that. It's not like that is a problem, but these are things you need to ask before you get married to know. I advise anyone that wants to go into a relationship to get this book, or get any book similar to this, but this book really covers a lot of things that you need to know, or you need to ask yourself before making a choice on your life partner. So remember, if you want to win, I have 2 copies that I'm giving out. You need to be based in Lagos, you need to be subscribed to my channel, you need to follow me on Instagram, and put a comment in this in the comment box here to let me know if you've done all these things. Follow me on Instagram, because I'm most likely going to get your address to post the book off Instagram, slide into my DM kind of thing, and then I'll choose people randomly who would get the book. But if you want to buy the book yourself, I would also put the bookstore where I got my 2 copies from. Yes, and then you can call them first. I advise you call them first to make sure that the books are available. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a little from what I could read out from the book, and I know that there are some questions I definitely want to go into more detail with. I'll definitely do another video where I talk a little bit more on the 165 questions. And yes, this is my first book review, and if you have any book you think I should read, or you've read and it's a very good read, then please comment again. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.